Hi, this is Peggy at Headshots by Peggy, and I am back with part 2 with Colleen Basis because we're both chatterboxes. We talked so long, I thought I better break it up into 2 parts for you, and you're gonna love the end of this. So keep watching.
And as an actor, because you're sensitive, you feel that.
Yeah.
And you think, is this not going well? Is this,
Right.
I'm not, like, the energy I'm getting back, like, they're saying the lines and they're saying it the way it's supposed to be said, but there's an energetic thing that's coming at them that can feel really unnerving. And that is where making really strong, specific choices helps you negotiate that difference in energy.
That's good advice right there.
Yeah.
So that's why you get paid the big bucks.
That is. So that's, I think, a lot of what I like to focus on.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm big into specifics.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Very specific, you know.
And I think it's important to really break it down and think about who you are and be specific about what you're doing, and that's really great advice.
Yeah. And I think too, you know, a lot of times actors, they're just a little bit general, you know. So a lot of times I end up asking a lot of questions, like, you know, I'll say, what's going on in this scene? And they're like, oh, you know, they're at their high school reunion. And I'm like, great, they are. Did they enjoy going to high school? Do they like the people? Are they happy about the job that they're, you know, doing now? Or are they like, did they make up a job? You know, or do they feel embarrassed? Do they feel ashamed? All those kinds of things. The more and more specific you get about a scene, the more you're going to bring to the table.
Right.
And then if you miss the mark a little bit, then the casting directors have something to adjust.
Right.
But if you're coming in with a general wash, they're kind of like, I mean, I guess that was good.
Yeah.
You know, that was great. But if you come in really specific, then they can say, oh, I see what you did there. You actually, you don't like that person as much as I think that you've decided you do. And it's like, oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Then they have something to give you direction.
Yeah.
Where if it's just throwing spaghetti at the wall, you're just like,
they're like, I guess that spaghetti is great.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that though. That makes sense, because if you go in, even if you go in and your vision, what you know, you spent all this time, and even if how you saw it was wrong, at least they see what you're seeing and they go, oh, okay, I see what you're doing there. No, do this.
Yes.
Then they can give you the feedback so that you can adjust, and they can give a clean, amazing audition to their client.
Totally. And what's great is that sometimes they can send both takes.
Right. And then the client, because clients don't always know what they want.
They don't. They really don't.
Big newsflash. Big newsflash.
Yes. And here's the thing. A lot of times people come to me and say, well, I just want to give them what they want. And I'm like, they don't know what they want. They don't know
what they want.
They're waiting for you to tell them. But tell them with all of the knowledge and research that you do. I mean, and that's the difference, is like, you're not just plucking it out of the air or out of your imagination. I mean, you've got a script. If you're auditioning for an episodic, hopefully you have other episodes, you know, and so or
if it's a pilot, you can see who directed it, who wrote it, what else did they direct, what else did they write, what else did they, so you can kind of get, you know, you can always do homework.
Totally.
There's always, you know, IMDb Pro, there's Google.
Yes.
This little thing we like to use.
Yes.
But you can always, you know, kind of get a feel at least. And then if you go in and they're like, oh, I know that this writer always writes this, but they're going this direction this time, then at least you had something you started with.
Totally.
Again.
Yeah, we're jumping off from a really specific point.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to slide this way or that way. Right. If you're coming from a really specific point of view.
Right. Yeah. And pilot season's right around the corner. I don't know how that happened.
I know.
Where did...
Oh my gosh. Yes.
November? How?
Totally.
What the heck? Anyway.
Totally.
So, but yeah, it's so it's time to be ready. Get some coaching classes under your belt. Get new headshots. Couldn't resist that.
Yeah.
But the other thing, I've been talking a lot lately about postcards, because it's kind of the time of the year people are thinking about that. And before we started, you kind of made a comment, so I just wanted to kind of throw that back at you so you can say that, because I was like, that's a really good, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking this morning as I was preparing, because if you could see my 2 sheets of preparation that I sent Peggy before we did this interview, I was thinking this morning, because it is coming up a lot, postcards and sending to casting directors and that kind of thing. And I think actors, I also love metaphors. I think sometimes actors spend a lot of time planting one tree, and they think it's this huge tree, and they spend a lot of time and energy and money digging this big hole to stick this big one tree in, instead of thinking about it from the perspective that you are planting a forest. And so you are planting seeds, and lots of seeds that are going to grow at different rates, that are going to be different kinds of trees and plants, and that you're really creating that. So sometimes I have actors say, like, well, I'm going to send out my stuff to agents and managers. And I'm like, great. And they spend a lot of time and a lot of money, and they write this really great general cover letter, which is amazing. And then I say, great, give me the list of agents and managers that you're going to send them to. And they say, well, I'm just going to send them to the mall. And that's great. But it's so much better if you're thinking about your forest in a specific way. Because really, those letters are not one big tree. Like, you're planting the forest. So we want to make sure we're planting the right seeds in the right place, in the right climate, and that kind of thing. Because they think the general sending is the thing.
Is the spreading the seeds everywhere.
Right. And really what they're doing is just digging a big giant hole and sort of pinning their hopes on this, like, that out of that one tree is going to, like, just appear. And for most of
the new agent manager tree, the new
yes,
and they put all their hope. Yeah, I see that.
That's right. I'm still working this out. I'm
seeing it. I'm seeing it.
I'm still clarifying it. But yes, and I think that it's important to see all of the work that you do, like sending postcards. That is part of building a relationship. It's part of reminding people that you're there. But also that you're giving them information. I'm on this show. I'm doing this play. A lot of times, even when actors get new headshots, if they have relationships with casting offices that have brought them in and know them, I say to them, send them your new headshots. Just drop them an email.
Right. Right.
Hey, ex-casting director, it was so great to see you when you brought me in for blah. I've got some new headshots. Here you go.
Yeah.
And it's just a reminder for them and building that relationship.
Right. And I play an attorney, and I know you cast a ton of attorneys.
Totally.
Just happened to be my thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're getting new headshots for a specific reason. You changed your hair color. You're transitioning in your age and type category. And you want them to know that because they know you in a specific way. And if who you are is changing and growing and transitioning, then, you need to let them know so the next time you go in for them, you're going in for the right thing.
Exactly.
For who you are right now.
Right. And we all change and grow.
Absolutely.
Actors don't like to admit that all the time.
No.
Do they? But you do. You change and grow. And that's okay. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
The alternative is death, and that sucks. So change and grow. Embrace it.
Totally. And that really, and also understanding that changing and growing shows up in your work. You know, that there is a difference between playing, speaking of lawyers, like a new lawyer just out of law school who's super really hungry, and dating and like,
Right.
you know, versus a couple years down the road when that lawyer is now in a relationship, has a
partner
family,
in the firm.
partner in the firm.
Right.
And that energetic thing about you as a person, that changes. And it's a good thing. It opens up other opportunities.
Right.
It's just that when you are transitioning into different places in yourself, you want all of your materials to support that change. Because you're telling the world, this is what I bring to my work. You know, not just who I am on the outside, but when I pick up a scene, this is what I bring to it. I bring all of that experience. I bring this kind of energy. And it's, I think the idea of your creative work, your scene work, what you do in auditions is totally intertwined with things like headshots, reel. They are not compartmentalized.
It should all build on the same story of the story that you tell. It should all reinforce. They should look at your headshot. They should open it up, and they should see the reel that supports the headshot. They should see the everything that supports. You know, they should all be working together.
Yes, and if you bring something to your work that is not being reflected in your headshots and your reels, it's really important that it's there.
Yeah.
Like if something that you always bring to your work is a sense of irony, you know, and a sense of maybe power, and then you have really nice sort of like nice person nerdy headshots, it's, you know, you're missing an opportunity. You know, and you can still have nice nerdy headshots with a sense of power and irony. But I think when you explore that in your work, it makes it a lot easier to do in the other parts of what it means to be an actor.
Right.
So if you know what you bring to a scene, you say, great, how do I bring that to a headshot?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and your headshot photographer, that's what we're here to do, is to help you. But you've got to tell us. Because you come in with, hey, I need a nice theatrical headshot. Well, okay. I mean, I'm not a portrait photographer anymore. I can make you look pretty and your grandma's going to love it.
Absolutely.
Or we can get you something that's going to get you in the door and get you an audition. Like, what do you want to do?
Totally. And I think it's really important. One of the things that I often work with actors is if I say they're not happy with their headshots and I say, well, tell me about that experience. And they'll say, well, you know, they sent me this thing and I didn't do it. And then it's like, I waited till the last minute to shop. And I'm like, well, you know, that's why you don't like your headshots. Like, it's nothing to do with the photographer. Like, they gave you all the tools, you just didn't use them. And for me, then it's an important discussion about
they're gonna
why
hire
you didn't do it.
And well, and not only that, but they're going to hire you for an acting coach. They're going to say, I didn't get anything out of that class at all.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I paid her money and I went, but, you know, oh, really? Well, why didn't you get anything out of that? Did you learn your lines? Did you prepare for it on Wednesday like you were preparing for an audition?
That's right.
You know, so it's that person is going to do that, and that's going to come in. If they do get booked, then guess what? They're going to show up on set and there are going to be issues because they're not prepared fully. So that's something that says a lot about that person. That's something that needs adjusted so that they can start booking. That's right there. If you can't even prepare for headshots, you can't prepare for an audition, you can't prepare for work.
Yeah. That is the work.
Yeah, that is.
That is the work. We're not waiting for anything.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's fine if you say, I did the work and it didn't help me. Great. That's an easy fix.
Right.
We just find something else that works for you. But if you're paying people and you're spending your time and energy paying professionals and you're not doing the work that they're asking you to do, that is something, that's what we need to work on. That's why you're not booking.
Exactly.
That's why you're not booking. I'm sure you're a great actor. But if you want to know why you're booking, that's why you're not booking. Now, if you do all that work and you're still not seeing the tangible results that you're trying to see, we might have to go a different way. But also, maybe we need to talk about what are the results that you're going for, and whether we can control that or not. I mean, that's also a question too. So that's kind of, a lot of what I end up doing too is asking a lot of those questions of, why didn't you do the work? Or how long did you prepare? I'm not judging you.
Right.
I get it. You were bartending, you have kids. Like, I just want to know that you looked at this morning at 10, no judgments, and you came to class at noon. I just want to know, so that we know this is, because at some point you are going to get an audition that you only have 2 hours to prepare for. And I want to know that this is what you're going to walk in the room with.
Right.
That's so important to me.
Right. But don't tell me you've been working on it from Wednesday and this is what you bring to the table.
Totally.
Because then we got a lot of work to do.
Yes. And again, not a big deal. But yes, like then we have some work to do.
Right.
Because, we've got to figure out how to compress that time, because you aren't going to have from Wednesday to Saturday.
No.
You aren't.
No.
So if you need a week to work on something, we've got to really start refining your process, because you will be lucky if you get 4 or 5 days to work on something.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just getting a gauge of where we're
Right.
at, so then we can adjust for the real world circumstances that every actor has to deal with. Peggy and I were just talking about that. I am nervous. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think actors often want to not be nervous for auditions, for all the things that they're going to do for interviews. But it's totally okay to be nervous. And one of the things that I like to work on is, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And so even for me today, I was like, well, I'm just going to have to practice what I tell other actors to do, which is prepare. I got here early. And I'm trying really hard to ground myself and be present and listen and breathe. And I think when you have those tools right there for you, it can really help you negotiate all of those feelings.
Right. I think that accepting that you're nervous and not fighting that you're nervous is a thing. Like, yeah, I'm nervous, and I love that.
Yeah.
And when you say that, because I've been trying to change my outlook on a few things in my life. And so I've been saying, like, yeah, I'm really frustrated about that, and I love that. And as soon as you do, it takes the power away from the frustration. It takes the power away from the nerves, and it just lets you feel that. It's like, I grew up in a home where I'm trying to figure out how to quickly explain my childhood. My dad's grandfather was a Mennonite minister, and if that doesn't mean anything to you, Google it. So we weren't allowed to laugh at TV. Like, if we laughed, it was be quiet. So it was like, and so my whole life, like, when I had an emotion, I had to, like, justify why I had an emotion. And, like, if I was happy, do I deserve to be happy? If I was sad, do I deserve to be sad? If I was mad, is there validation for me to be mad? Like, I have, and no, they're just your feelings. It's just nerves. You're just excited. You're just nervous. You're just happy. You're just mad. Just feel it and go on.
Yeah.
And I think that's, because headshots make people nervous. It's different than acting. Plus,
Totally.
they put so much stress on it. And it's not just the actors. It's the agent. It's the manager. It's, oh my God, if I have crappy headshots, I'm not going to ever get an audition. And this is my last $500. I'm never going to have $500 again to get a new headshot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all these things are going through your head. And so you put so much stock on it. So there are times when I have clients come into the studio and the first half hour is just me getting them to chill. Heck out.
Yeah.
Because they're so wound up so tight that I'll just kind of sit and chat with them. And I know they think, what's her problem? No, it's you. I can't work in this energy environment.
Yeah.
So, I have to, like, kind of get people to, like, relax.
Yeah.
And that's, so I think now I get it, because doing headshots, you're looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Acting, you're off camera. So, it's a whole different feel. It's a whole different whole different experience. So there are actors that aren't going to have those kind of nerves acting that they are headshots. It's a whole different thing. But there are some actors that get really nervous in the room, in the audition room. It just makes them so anxious.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out a way to like get rid of, like, embrace that. Like, ooh, I'm nervous. That feels so exciting. Like, I'm on a roller coaster. I'm so scared. This is fun. Like,
Totally.
you know, change the story.
Yes.
Change it in yourself so that you can go through it, because there's just, you know, it shows, and I can feel that energy in the studio. So I guarantee those casting directors can feel that energy, and they're like, okay, they knew the lines. The lines were great, but oh my God, I need to take a coffee break or something, because like I can't.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things, so I teach a Saturday noon, I'll pitch my class.
No,
class
do,
with
because I'm going to
Colleen.
pitch you in a second.
You know, I teach a Saturday class, and, you know, I do the one-on-ones, and I think one of the things that, you know, I struggle with is you know, even for me, when it's like, I don't know how to do that for me. You know, like, how do I do that? It's really great. Like, other people seem to have figured out, like, how to deal with their nerves, but nobody's really telling me, like, how to do it. And I like to create an environment where you can come in and explore how to do it. Like, 1 week, try this, 1 week, try that. And we'll figure it out. And I think that's really the question that a lot of actors grapple with, which is the how.
Right.
You know, how do I do this? How do I prepare for headshots?
Right.
You know, and it's one of those things of like, if you aren't sure, then ask your photographer. And if your photographer isn't helping you and guiding you, then they just might not be the right photographer for you. They might be the right photographer for somebody else.
There are thousands of headshot photographers in LA, and I do not think I'm in competition with any of them, because what I offer is different. There's over 4 million people in LA, and at least all of them are actors.
Totally. Totally.
Except for the 3 doctors that, you know, and they probably do some stuff
They
on
probably
the
have
side.
a screenplay.
Yeah. So, but seriously, there's just, you know, and that's one of the great things about this vlog is if you can't listen to my vlog, don't come into my studio, because you don't like me, and it's okay.
It's totally fine.
It's fine.
Totally fine.
But I hope that you get that and don't waste either of our time and money, because, you know, seriously, because I don't want a bad Yelp review or Facebook review, and you don't want bad headshots. And so find somebody that's a fit for you.
Yeah.
And I love that you let people explore, like, okay, I'm anxious. How can I? Because it's taken me several decades to figure out. And this is like, I meant like 2 weeks into this, and it actually is working for me.
Right.
Is when I feel anxious, or it's like, I'm anxious right now, and I love it.
Yeah.
And then it like takes the power away.
Totally.
And that may not work for you, but I mean, tons of things other people suggested for me to work, like stop and breathe deep. I'm like, this just pisses me off.
Yes.
It's like that doesn't work for me.
Totally.
And I know people that can just like, no.
Yeah. And that's really, really important, which is that different language, different techniques work for different people.
Everybody's so different.
Everybody is so different.
And that's what's so awesome.
It is awesome. And it also means that if something's not working, it's not a big deal.
Nope.
Like,
it just
we're
doesn't
gonna
work for you.
figure it out. Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. You just need the place and the person and the time and the space to work on it and figure it out and see what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly.
Without judgment of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't, just like I wouldn't judge you, don't judge yourself.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I'm so good at not judging you, but whew.
Yeah, totally.
So that's a lesson that we all need to learn is, you know, let yourself be, you know, late one day. Let yourself like be okay if there was an accident. I mean, it's LA, that never happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, let it be okay.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think too, know when you're a beginner and this is the first time you're trying something or doing something. Even for me today, I was like, you know, this is my first on-camera
You're a
interview.
pro. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
she doesn't look nervous. She's pulling it off great.
Yeah. And I just was like, well, you know, I'm going to go in. Peggy's great. I did my research. I watched your vlogs. I came in feeling really comfortable and doing what I felt like I needed to do, but also I'm a beginner. And I'm going to watch this just like, I don't know which camera to look in, but here's what's going to happen. is that I'm going to watch this vlog. I'm going to see how Peggy edits it. And then I'm going to take from that, you know, what I feel like was effective and what I feel like works. And I, of course, will judge all the things we judge about ourselves. But I think once you can see past that, and really then say, well, it was the first time I did it. What can I learn?
Right.
And then the next time you do it, you have a little bit more knowledge, you have a little bit more experience, and it'll be different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This has been really, really fun.
Oh my gosh, thank
you. So plug your class. Tell us all about it.
Okay.
Yes. And I'll put links below.
Absolutely. I'm going to do this direct to camera because I'm pretty sure that's what you're supposed to do. You can go to my website, which is my name, Colleen Basis, COLLEENBASIS.com. And you can also find out about my private coaching and also my weekly class, which is on Saturdays from 12 to 3 at the Sanford Meisner Center in lovely Burbank, California. I'm there every Saturday. We'll take a break for the holidays. I do tend to fill up a little bit. So definitely, if it's going to be your first week, try to get me at the beginning of the week because I like to keep it small. And if I keep filling up, I'm probably going to add another section in January for pilot season. You can also follow me at Instagram. I'm at Colleen Basis, and I do tips and videos, and I let you know about fun things to do around LA. Because one of the biggest things actors tell me is, I just want to act. And I say, here are 14 ways you can go act. Show up at one of them.
There you go.
Yes. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Whew.
This was so fun.
This
was fun.
Thank you.
So if you find her on social media, are you on TikTok?
I'm not on TikTok yet. So that is my next.
That's my new adventure.
That's your new adventure.
I am on TikTok. Yes.
I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
I would have years ago. I would have said no, but now I'm like, let's check it out.
I don't know. It's silly. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I love the videos I see on other.
It's ridiculously
platforms.
funny. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also on Twitter and Facebook, but I'll be honest, I just do the thing where you post on Instagram and then send it to the other ones.
Everybody that follows me knows that about me. I'm like, about once every 2 or 3 weeks, I'll post something on Facebook just because I feel I should.
Yeah.
I mean, I post my vlogs there and I forward them, of course.
Absolutely.
That's where most of you guys are watching,
Yes.
and I leave Facebook alone. But most of my viewers are from because actors love, They explained this to me. Who was it? It must have been the Casting About guys. I'm thinking.
Oh,
they
yeah,
said
they did.
Facebook is for networking, and Instagram is for promotion. And
love
so
that. They did
Facebook
say that.
does
I
have
watched
its
that.
place. So
Yes.
and that's where literally, I mean, because I was never even on Facebook, and they're like, if you're working with actors, you have to have a Facebook presence.
Yeah.
You have to be there. So
Yes.
So and I know that most of my audience is watching right now on Facebook.
Yeah.
Even though I have a YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to.
Yes, you should. I am working on. That's one of my new adventures too. I'm doing all the things.
Yeah.
Yes, and for actors too, real quick. I always say, like, I get it. Social media can be a challenge. But one of the things that actors say to me a lot is like, I can't wait till I have an assistant and they just do it for me, or I can hire a social media person. And my answer to that is always, but how are they gonna know what to post?
If you didn't,
If you
not
don't
following
know
your lead.
Yeah, if you don't know what you want your social media presence to be like, nobody else is gonna decide it for you. And
they shouldn't, because then it's not you.
It's not you, you know. It's you, and I think that one of the biggest shifts I made, and that was so helpful for my business, was taking that leap and just saying, I'm going to put myself out there, and people don't have to follow me if they don't want to.
Yeah. You got to be you, because that's what you're selling. You got to be you.
And you are enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You are enough.
That's a perfect way to end it. You are enough.
Thank you.
Well, make sure that you follow her all over social media. Follow the links below. Give her a call. Let her see if she's a fit for you, because everybody needs a little bit of help with auditioning and acting. And so that's fun. You gave us some great tips today.
Thank you.
Make sure you follow me on all my social medias. And most importantly, have an amazing week. I'll see you next week.